The champagne glass shattered 3 seconds before I hit the floor. 200 people watched me collapse, 7 months pregnant, in my emerald dress, while the screen behind me showed my husband on one knee, proposing to another woman, on a yacht, yesterday. But here's what nobody in that ballroom knew yet. The affair? That was just the surface. The betrayal I could see? Nothing compared to what was hidden underneath. Because my millionaire husband, he wasn't who anyone thought he was. And the billionaire ex I left 12 years ago, he was about to expose a truth that would burn everything to the ground. They say you never really know someone until they show you who they are. Well, Nathan Harper was about to show me exactly who he'd been all along. And I was about to show him what happens when you underestimate a woman who has nothing left to lose. This is the story of how I lost everything in one night, and how losing everything became the key to finding myself. Stay with me, because what comes next, you won't believe it. The champagne glass shattered against the marble floor 3 seconds before my knees gave out. 200 people, 200 pairs of eyes, all watching as I collapsed in my emerald dress, 7 months pregnant, while the projection screen behind me showed my husband proposing to another woman, on a yacht, yesterday, while I thought he was in Chicago on business. But here's what I didn't know yet. The affair? That was just the beginning, because my millionaire husband wasn't who anyone thought he was. And the billionaire ex-boyfriend I'd left 12 years ago, he was about to expose a truth that would destroy everything. My name is Rebecca Harper, and this is what happened when my perfect life shattered. The sound cut through the ballroom's polite chatter like a gunshot. 200 heads turned. 200 pairs of eyes watched as Rebecca Harper, 7 months pregnant and dressed in emerald silk, crumpled toward the floor. Her vision tunneled. The edges went dark first, then the center, until all she could see was the projection screen. The screen where her husband was down on one knee, on a yacht, proposing to someone who wasn't her. Someone caught her before she hit the ground. Strong hands, a man's voice saying something urgent. "Call an ambulance," someone shouted. The baby kicked, hard, as if to say, "I'm still here, Mom." Rebecca tried to breathe. The dress was too tight. She'd chosen it so carefully. Nathan liked green. Nathan said it brought out her eyes. Nathan said a lot of things, apparently. "Give her space," another voice commanded. Female, authoritative. "She's pregnant. Someone get her water." The screen was still playing. Nathan's voice. That voice she'd woken up to for 8 years. "Vivian Cross, you are the love of my life. Will you marry me?" The ballroom gasped. "Yes," Vivian's voice rang out, young and bright and so very happy. "Yes, yes, yes." The crowd on the yacht cheered. The crowd in the ballroom was silent as a tomb. "Rebecca, Rebecca, can you hear me?" Dr. Winters, Patricia Winters, her obstetrician. "The video, is it real?" Patricia's face said everything. The pity in her eyes was worse than the betrayal on the screen. "Let's get you to the hospital. Right now, all that matters is you and the baby." "Everyone knew," Rebecca said. The words came out flat, empty. "You're all here, at his engagement party, his engagement to someone else, while I'm carrying his child." Patricia's silence was answer enough. The paramedics arrived. They lifted her onto a gurney. As they wheeled her toward the door, Rebecca turned her head. Near the back of the ballroom, she saw Nathan's mother, Margaret Harper, standing with a cluster of society women. Margaret met Rebecca's eyes for just a moment. Then she looked away and continued her conversation as if nothing had happened, as if Rebecca was already gone. In the ambulance, Rebecca checked her phone with shaking hands. 53 missed calls from Claire, her best friend, the woman who'd been her maid of honor. 0 calls from Nathan, 0 texts, 0 messages explaining that the video was a joke, a misunderstanding, a cruel prank. "Your heart rate is elevated," the paramedic said. "Try to stay calm." Stay calm, as if that was possible, as if her entire life hadn't just imploded on a projection screen. Rebecca closed her eyes. She could still see the image burned into her retinas. Nathan, on one knee, looking at Vivian the way he used to look at Rebecca. No, that wasn't fair. It had never been real. That was the part that hurt most. The baby kicked again, softer this time, as if exhausted. "I've got you," Rebecca whispered. "I've got you, baby girl. We're going to be okay." She didn't believe it, but she said it anyway. At the hospital, they rushed her through the emergency entrance. A nurse with kind eyes took her hand. "Your husband, is he on the way?" Rebecca's laugh came out broken. "I don't have a husband, not anymore." They put her in a private room, hooked her up to monitors. The baby's heartbeat filled the space. Thump, 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 strong and steady despite everything. "Baby's doing great," a nurse said. This one wouldn't meet Rebecca's eyes. She'd seen the video then. By now, the video was probably everywhere. Her phone buzzed, a text from a number she hadn't seen in 12 years. "Rebecca, I just saw the news. I'm so sorry. If you need anything, please call." James Thornton, her ex-fiancé, the man she'd left to marry Nathan, the man who'd been right about everything. Rebecca deleted the text. She couldn't think about James now, couldn't think about the roads not taken. The door opened. Claire walked in. Claire Rodriguez, corporate attorney, Rebecca's best friend since law school. Claire, whose face was blotchy from crying. "Don't," Rebecca said before Claire could speak. "Just don't." "I need to explain," Claire said. "How long?" Rebecca asked. "How long have you known?" Claire sank into the chair beside the bed. 2 months. 2 months. 8 weeks. 56 days of lies. I saw them together at that restaurant in North Beach. I confronted Nathan. He begged me for time, said he needed to handle it delicately, said you were pregnant and he didn't want to stress you. He was ending it by proposing to her on a yacht. "I know, I'm so sorry. I thought I was protecting you." "You thought wrong," Rebecca said. "Everyone thought wrong, except apparently everyone at that gala." The monitors beeped. Rebecca's blood pressure was climbing. A nurse stuck her head in, frowned at the numbers. "She needs rest," the nurse said. After Claire left, Rebecca was alone with the beeping machines and the baby's heartbeat and the crushing weight of her new reality. She scrolled through her messages with Nathan. 8 years of conversations. The last text she'd sent him was from this morning. "Can't wait to see you tonight. Miss you." He'd replied, "Miss you too," while planning his engagement to another woman. The door opened again. This time it was Nathan. Finally, he stood in the doorway wearing his tuxedo from the engagement party. His bow tie was undone. His hair was messy. "Rebecca," he said, just her name, as if that explained anything. "Don't come closer," she said. Her voice sounded strange, cold. Nathan stayed by the door. "I can explain." "Can you? Can you explain how you proposed to your mistress while your 7 months pregnant wife thought you were in Chicago?" "It's complicated," Nathan said. "Vivian is pregnant," Nathan said. The words came out in a rush. "She's pregnant too." "I had to do the right thing." The room tilted. "She's pregnant. 4 months. I know how this looks." "The right thing," Rebecca interrupted. "What about your actual wife? What about your actual baby?" "That's what I'm trying to tell you. I want a divorce." There it was, the final blow, delivered in a hospital room with all the tenderness of a business transaction. "Get out," Rebecca said. "We need to discuss logistics." "Get out!" she was shouting now. "Get out! Get out! Get out!" Nurses rushed in. Nathan backed away. They sedated her. Just a little, the nurse promised, for the baby. As Rebecca drifted, she thought about the champagne glass shattering, how it broke into 1,000 pieces, how those pieces could never be put back together. She thought, "I'm not crazy. Everyone else is acting like this is normal, but this is adornment." Then she thought nothing at all. Rebecca woke to darkness and the sound of her phone buzzing. For one merciful second, she forgot. Then memory crashed back like a wave. 3:17 in the morning. 72 new notifications. The video had gone viral. Society scandal, millionaire real estate developer, pregnant wife. The comments were worse than she'd imagined. She must have done something wrong. Gold digger got what she deserved. Rebecca's hands shook. But there were sympathetic comments too. That poor woman. I hope she takes him for everything. If only they knew about the prenup. The prenup she'd signed 8 years ago at their engagement party. The prenup Nathan's lawyer had presented after 6 glasses of champagne. Because she was 25 and stupid. Another buzz. A text from James again. Rebecca stared at the message. James Thornton. The man she'd left because Nathan was exciting. Because Nathan was ambitious. Because Nathan promised her the world. She'd been so stupid. The door opened. Dr. Winters, Patricia, looking exhausted. I thought you'd be awake. How are you feeling? How do you think? Don't apologize. You're allowed to be angry. Everyone knew, Rebecca said. They all knew he was going to show that video. Patricia was quiet then. Not everyone knew about the video. Most people just knew there was an announcement. Nathan's mother organized the whole thing. A surprise, Rebecca repeated. Well, it was certainly that. Margaret Harper's a piece of work. But this is cruel even for her. Rebecca turned to look at Patricia. You knew about the affair. Patricia nodded slowly. I suspected. Vivian Cross is also my patient. When she came in and listed Nathan as the father, I couldn't say anything. Patient confidentiality. Another person who'd known. How many? Rebecca asked. How many people in this city knew? Does the number matter? Yes, because I need to know how much of a fool I've been. Patricia reached out, took Rebecca's hand. You're not a fool. You're a woman who trusted her husband. Human got me abandoned at 7 months pregnant. Human got you a baby, a healthy baby who needs her mother to be strong. I don't feel strong. Broken is how you feel before you heal, and you will heal. After Patricia left, Rebecca lay awake watching the sky turn from black to gray to pale blue. Sunday morning, she was supposed to have brunch with Nathan's mother today. Family, what a joke. Her phone buzzed. Sarah, her younger sister. I'm outside. They won't let me in because it's not visiting hours. I bribed a nurse. 2 minutes later, Sarah burst through the door. She looked at Rebecca and her face crumpled. Oh, honey, Sarah said, rushing to the bed. That did it? The tears Rebecca had been holding back finally came. Great, heaving sobs. Sarah held her, careful of the IV, careful of the baby bump. I hate him, Rebecca sobbed. I hate him so much. Good. Hate is good. Hate means you're not making excuses for him. Everyone knew Sarah. Claire knew for 2 months. Sarah pulled back. Claire knew. She saw them together, confronted Nathan. He asked for time to handle it delicately. He handled it with a yacht and a video camera. I'm going to kill him. Get in line. They sat together in silence. Then Sarah said, what do you need? Rebecca thought about it. What did she need? A home that wasn't Nathan's mansion. Money that wasn't Nathan's money. A life that wasn't built on lies. A lawyer, she said finally. I need a lawyer. Done. I know someone. David Crawford. He handles high-profile divorces. The prenup. Screw the prenup. There are always ways around prenups. Just call him. What's the worst that can happen? You're already at rock bottom. Rock bottom. That's exactly where she was. Okay. Call him. While Sarah made the appointment, Rebecca's phone buzzed again. Another text from James. I know you don't want to talk to me, I understand, but please know I'm here if you need anything. What Nathan did is unforgivable. You deserve better. You always deserve better. Rebecca stared at the message. James Thornton. The man she'd left because Nathan promised her the world. She'd been so stupid. But what Rebecca didn't know yet was that the pregnancy wasn't the only secret someone had been keeping. And when the truth finally came out, it would change everything. The hospital discharged Rebecca late Sunday afternoon. Sarah drove her straight to Sarah's apartment. Not to the mansion in Pacific Heights. Not to the home Rebecca had decorated with such care. You're staying with me, Sarah had said. No room for argument. Sarah's apartment was small. 1 bedroom, 1 bathroom. It was nothing like the mansion. But it was safe. But Rebecca couldn't rest. Her mind wouldn't stop spinning. Kept replaying the video. She picked up her phone, scrolled back through her text messages with Nathan. 8 years of conversations. She needed to understand when she'd stopped being real to him. January, a month ago, she'd texted, first ultrasound today. Baby is measuring perfect. Nathan's reply, sorry, sweetheart, Chicago deal is taking longer than expected. He'd never asked that night. She'd made excuses. November, 2 months ago, Thanksgiving. He'd arrived 2 hours late, smelling like perfume that wasn't hers. She'd noticed. She'd noticed and said nothing. September, 4 months ago, her birthday. She'd waited at the restaurant for 90 minutes. She should have known then. Rebecca's phone buzzed. A text from Nathan. "We need to talk about the house. My lawyers will contact you tomorrow regarding logistics." Logistics, as if their marriage was a failed business deal. Another text came through. This one wasn't meant for her. "The lawyer says the prenup is airtight. She gets nothing. Make sure the papers are ready by Monday. The sooner we can move on from this, the better." Rebecca stared at the screen. Read the message again. She gets nothing. He'd meant to send it to someone else, his lawyer probably, or Vivian. Rebecca took a screenshot, saved it to 3 different places. Then she forwarded it to David Crawford, the divorce lawyer Sarah had contacted. "Thought you should see this. Can we move up our appointment?" The reply came within minutes. "Tomorrow morning, 9 o'clock. Rebecca opened her laptop, started making a list of everything she knew about Nathan's business. Every company name, every property, every deal she'd overheard, because she'd been a corporate lawyer once, before Nathan convinced her to quit. She'd been stupid to quit, but she wasn't stupid anymore. The bedroom door cracked open. Sarah peeked in. "You should be resting." "Can't rest, too angry." Sarah came in, sat on the edge of the bed. "Good. Angry is better than sad. I keep thinking about all the signs I missed." "That's not your fault. You know what gaslighting is? Nathan is a master at it." "Is that what he did? Gaslit me?" "For 8 years. Every time you questioned him and he made you feel crazy for asking." Rebecca thought about that, about all the times she'd apologized for being upset, for wanting his attention, for asking where he'd been. "I hate him. Is that wrong?" "No, you're supposed to feel whatever you feel." They sat in silence. Then Sarah said, "Do you want to know what Margaret is saying?" "Do I?" "She's telling everyone you were difficult, cold, that you trapped Nathan with the pregnancy." The rage that flooded through Rebecca was almost physical. "I never wanted his money. I had my own career, my own life. I gave it all up for him." "I know. Everyone who actually knows you knows that." Her phone buzzed again. "James, the third one today. Rebecca, I know you don't want to hear from me, but I need to tell you something important. Something about Nathan. Something you should have known 12 years ago. Please call me." Rebecca showed the message to Sarah. "What do you think this is about?" Sarah frowned. "I don't know, but James Thornton is a good guy. Whatever he wants to tell you, it's probably worth hearing." Rebecca thought about James, about the man she'd left for Nathan. James had been so different, quiet where Nathan was loud, thoughtful where Nathan was impulsive. She'd chosen wrong, obviously, catastrophically wrong. "I can't think about James right now." "Fair enough. Get some sleep. Tomorrow we fight." After Sarah left, Rebecca lay in the dark, one hand on her stomach. "I promise you something," Rebecca whispered. "Whatever happens with your father, you will never doubt that you are loved. You will always be enough exactly as you are." The baby kicked, one small flutter. Rebecca closed her eyes, but sleep wouldn't come. She wasn't the naive woman Nathan thought he'd married, and Nathan was about to find out exactly who she'd become. Monday morning arrived with rain. Rebecca woke to the sound of it drumming against Sarah's bedroom window. She showered, dressed in one of the few outfits that still fit, black pants with an elastic waist, a soft gray sweater. No makeup. Sarah drove her to David Crawford's office in the financial district. "You've got this," Sarah said. "Remember, you're not the villain here." The receptionist led them to a corner office. David Crawford stood as they entered. He was 45, silver at his temples, sharp suit, kind eyes. "Mrs. Harper, I'm sorry we're meeting under these circumstances. Please call me Rebecca." David nodded, opened a folder. "I've reviewed the text message. I have to be honest. This is going to be difficult." "How difficult?" "The prenup you signed is extremely thorough. In the event of divorce, you're entitled to spousal support for 1 year. $5,000 per month. After that, nothing. Or $5,000 per month. $60,000 total. For 8 years of marriage." "What about the house?" The house is in Nathan's name, as are all the properties, all the investment accounts. You signed away your claim to everything. I was 25, I was drunk. I didn't read it properly. I understand, but Rebecca, you were a lawyer when you signed. Nathan's team will argue you knew exactly what you were signing. So that's it? 8 years and I get nothing? Not nothing. There's child support. $10,000 per month, possibly more. What about the affair? Doesn't that matter? David shook his head. California is a no-fault divorce state. The affair is irrelevant. Irrelevant. Nathan's betrayal was irrelevant. Rebecca's phone buzzed. 3 messages, all from unknown numbers. Is this the wife? You need to know your husband has been lying to everyone. Nathan Harper is a fraud. His company is built on stolen property. Ask him about James Thornton. You think the affair is bad? Wait until you find out what he did to get his first million. Rebecca showed them to David. This happens sometimes when a scandal goes public. Most of it is nonsense. What if it's not? Her phone buzzed again. James Thornton, calling. Rebecca stood up. I need to take this. She stepped out into the hallway, answered. James. Rebecca, thank you for answering. I know you don't want to talk to me. What do you know about Nathan? Your text said I should have known something 12 years ago. Silence. Then, can we meet? This isn't a conversation for the phone. They agreed on a cafe in North Beach. Rebecca went back into David's office. I need to postpone this. Something's come up. Sarah drove her to the cafe. If this is some kind of trick, you're not facing it alone. But when they arrived, Rebecca asked Sarah to wait in the car. Please, I need to do this myself. The cafe was nearly empty. James was already there. He stood when he saw her. 12 years. He'd aged well, still tall, still had that quiet confidence. But there were lines around his eyes now. Rebecca, you look pregnant and exhausted? Because that's what I am. They sat. A barista brought water. Thank you for coming. You said I was targeted. What does that mean? James looked down at his coffee. Do you remember when we were together? When I was working on my first patents? Yes, the algorithm for predictive logistics. Do you remember helping me with the patent applications? Rebecca nodded. She'd been in law school, had helped James with the legal paperwork. Those patents were worth a lot of money, are still worth a lot of money. I know, I read about your success. 6 months after you left me, my patents were copied. Someone had access to my early designs, sold that technology to my competitors. Rebecca's stomach dropped. Nathan. James nodded. Nathan. He made his first million selling my intellectual property. Everything he has, it all started with what he stole from me. But how? How did he get access? James looked at her, and Rebecca saw the answer in his eyes. Through you. You had all my files. Nathan must have copied them when you two started dating. The cafe tilted. No, I would have noticed. Would you? You were 21, in love. He was charming and successful, and he used you to destroy me. Rebecca couldn't breathe. I need air. She rushed outside. James followed. I'm sorry, I should have told you more gently. You're saying Nathan pursued me specifically to steal from you? Yes, I'm sorry, Rebecca. I should have fought harder to stop him. But I still loved you, and I knew if I went after Nathan, you'd be caught in the middle. So I let it go. Let it go, Rebecca repeated. She started laughing, the kind of laughter that bordered on hysteria. You let it go, and I married him. I married him thinking he loved me. But he never loved me. He targeted me, he had me. I was just a means to an end. Rebecca, no, I left you for him. I threw away what we had because Nathan Harper made me feel special. But I was never chosen. I was targeted. I was a mark. James stepped closer. It's not your fault. Nathan is a predator. It is my fault. I was so stupid. And now I'm 33 and pregnant and broke, and everyone was right about me. Stop, James said firmly. He took her shoulders. Listen to me. You are not stupid. You were young and targeted by a master manipulator. Rebecca looked up at him. Why are you telling me this now? Because you deserve to know the truth, and because Nathan needs to face consequences. For 12 years, I've watched him build his life on theft and lies. I let it go for your sake. But now he's destroying you, and I can't stand by anymore. What are you saying? I'm saying I'm ready to prosecute. I have proof, documentation, everything. But I need you to understand what that means. It means Nathan's entire empire could collapse. Do it, Rebecca interrupted. I don't care what happens to Nathan. Burn it all down. They stood there on the sidewalk, rain-soaked and determined. Nathan Harper had taken everything from her, but he'd made one critical mistake. He'd underestimated who she'd been before he broke her and who she was becoming now. Rebecca spent the rest of Monday in meetings, first with James's lawyers, then back to David Crawford's office, armed with new information. This changes things, David said. If Nathan's company was built on stolen property, the prenup might be voidable. Fraud in the inducement. Fraud in the inducement, Rebecca repeated. It means you were tricked into signing. Nathan married you under false pretenses. That could invalidate the entire agreement. Hope flickered in Rebecca's chest. How long will this take? David hesitated. Months. Possibly years. Nathan will fight back. But there is proof. I know, but cases like this get messy. Rebecca's phone buzzed. Sarah. Your things are packed. Nathan had them delivered to my apartment. He's changed all the locks. Of course he had. I need to go to the house. There are things I need. Rebecca, that might not be a good idea. I don't care. That's my home, my things. But even as she said it, she knew it wasn't true. The house had never been hers. James drove her to Pacific Heights, to the mansion on Broadway. Are you sure about this? No, but I'm doing it anyway. She approached the front door, tried her key. It didn't work. She rang the doorbell. The door opened. But it wasn't Nathan. It was Margaret Harper. Rebecca, what are you doing here? I live here, or I did until your son changed the locks. This is Nathan's house. You have no claim to it. My clothes are here, my personal belongings. Margaret smiled. It wasn't a kind smile. Your things have been packed and sent to your sister's apartment. I want to see for myself. Margaret blocked her path. I don't think so. Then Rebecca heard footsteps. A woman appeared, young, beautiful, pregnant. Vivian. She was living here already. Oh, Vivian said. I'm sorry, I didn't know. Didn't know what? Didn't know you were moving into a married man's house while his pregnant wife was still legally entitled to live there? Rebecca, Margaret said sharply, don't make a scene. A scene? Your son proposed to his mistress on a yacht and played the video at a charity gala. But I'm making a scene? Nathan made a difficult choice. Vivian is carrying his child. He's doing the right thing by her. What about me? I'm also carrying his child. Margaret's face hardened. You trapped my son with that pregnancy. The words hit like a physical blow. Rebecca stepped back. I trapped him. We were married for 8 years. We were trying to get pregnant. But sure, I trapped him. Everyone knows what you are, Margaret continued. A gold digger who saw an opportunity. He's destroying himself, Rebecca said quietly. I'm just refusing to go down with him. She turned to Vivian. How long? How long have you been with Nathan? Vivian glanced at Margaret. I don't think... How long? Since college. We dated in college. We broke up senior year. Then he found me again about 18 months ago. 18 months ago. Rebecca had been pregnant with their first child, the baby she'd miscarried. She'd been devastated. Nathan had been distant, but he'd been with Vivian. Did he tell you he asked me to get pregnant again? After the miscarriage? Vivian's face went pale. No, he said you'd been trying to trap him. I have a prescription. From my doctor. I didn't trap anyone. That's not... He's lying to you, the same way he lied to me, and you'll believe him until you don't, until it's too late. Margaret stepped forward to get off this property before I call the police. This is my property, too. I'm still legally his wife. You have no rights. The prenup was very clear. Nathan owns everything, you own nothing, you are nothing. The words hung in the air. You are nothing. Rebecca felt something inside her break, but instead of shattering, it crystallized. You're right. In your world, I am nothing. I have no money, no connections, no power. But let me tell you something. You think money is power, but I was a lawyer before I was Nathan's wife, and I know things. I know about your son's business dealings. I know secrets that would destroy everything you've built. Are you threatening us? I'm promising you, if you try to keep me from my daughter, I will burn Nathan's empire to the ground, and I'll enjoy every second of it. She turned and walked away. Down the steps, down the sidewalk. She didn't look back. Sarah was waiting by the car. How did it go? Margaret was there, and Vivian, she's already moved in. That bitch. Both. As Sarah drove, Rebecca stared out the window. They passed the marina, all the places that were tainted now. Her phone buzzed. James. How did it go at the house? Badly, but I'm okay. I've been thinking. You need a place to stay, somewhere safe. I have a guest house. It's yours if you want it. No strings. I can't accept that. Why not? I'm not asking you for anything. I'm offering you a safe place to have your baby. Rebecca looked down at her stomach. At the daughter who would be here in 2 months. Let me think about it. Take all the time you need. The offer stands. They arrived back at Sarah's apartment. Inside, boxes were stacked everywhere. Rebecca's things from the mansion. Sarah was already opening boxes. Look, she held up a manila envelope. This was in one of the boxes, addressed to you. Rebecca took it. No return address. Inside was a flash drive and a handwritten note. You need to see this. Nathan isn't who you think he is. The truth is on this drive. Use it wisely. A friend. They plugged in the drive. It contained dozens of files, financial records, emails, photographs, all documenting Nathan's business dealings. And every single document pointed to fraud, illegal zoning payoffs, money laundering through shell companies, falsified loan applications. Nathan's entire real estate empire was built on criminal activity. Rebecca had suspected, had noticed things, late-night meetings, cash payments, properties that sold for far more than they were worth. She'd suspected, but she'd never confirmed, because knowing would mean admitting her marriage was a fraud. But now she knew. Who sent this? Sarah asked. I don't know, but whoever it was, they just gave us everything we need. She thought about what she'd said to Margaret, about burning Nathan's empire to the ground. It wasn't a threat anymore. It was a promise, and she was going to keep it. Rebecca spent Tuesday morning sorting through the files. Each document was more damning than the last. She made lists, created timelines. The lawyer in her, dormant for 8 years, woke up. By noon, she had a clear picture. It was all illegal. Every property, every deal, every transaction. This is insane, Sarah said. How did he get away with this? Money. He paid the right people, built a respectable facade. Her phone rang. David Crawford. Rebecca, I've been reviewing the intellectual property case. James's documentation is solid, but there's something else. What? James is offering something unusual. He's willing to drop the criminal charges against Nathan entirely in exchange for one thing. What's that? Your freedom. James wants Nathan to void the prenup, pay you a fair settlement, and agree to joint custody. If Nathan agrees, James walks away. If not, James prosecutes. Rebecca was quiet. Why would James do that? I think you know why. She did know. James was doing this for her. After 12 years, he was still trying to protect her. What do you think I should do? That's not my call. But Rebecca, if you take this deal, Nathan gets away with everything. But I get my daughter. I get security. I get out. You do. The question is that enough? Rebecca looked at the files spread across Sarah's coffee table. I need to think about it. After hanging up, Rebecca sat in silence. The baby kicked. What do I do? She whispered. Do I take the deal or do I fight? The baby kicked again. No answers. Her phone buzzed. Claire, the first communication since Sunday night. I know you don't want to talk to me, but I found something you need to see. It's about Nathan and Vivian. Please call me. Rebecca called. Rebecca, thank you. I'm so sorry. Just tell me what you found. Claire was quiet. Then, I've been digging into Nathan's history. Vivian Cross isn't new. They dated in college. She got pregnant their senior year. He convinced her to get an abortion. Told her they'd start a family later. Rebecca's stomach turned. How do you know this? I found Vivian's college roommate. She told me everything about how Nathan disappeared right after, how Vivian had to drop out. So he abandoned her, then came back years later. Not just years later. He's been seeing her on and off the entire time, even while married to you. She's not his mistress. She's his other life. How long? The entire 8 years, I'm sorry. Rebecca ended the call, set the phone down carefully. Then she walked to Sarah's bathroom, closed the door, turned on the shower, and screamed. She screamed until her throat was raw, until the baby was kicking frantically. Then she slid down the wall and cried. Sarah knocked. Rebecca, are you okay? No, I'm not okay. I don't think I'm ever going to be okay again. Can I come in? Rebecca unlocked the door. Sarah came in, sat beside her. What happened? He's been with her the whole time, 8 years. The entire time I thought we were building a life. Sarah put her arm around Rebecca. He's garbage. I loved him. I gave up everything for him. You were lied to. That's not the same as being stupid. I don't know what to do anymore. What would justice look like? Rebecca thought about it. I want him to stop. Stop hurting people. Stop lying. Stop getting away with it. I want consequences. Then make that happen. You have the power. You have the evidence. What if I fail? Then you fail fighting, which is better than succeeding at giving up. By dawn, Rebecca had made a decision. She texted James, I accept the deal, but only if we add one condition. Nathan admits in writing what he did. I want the truth on record. I want him to confess. James's reply came within minutes. He'll never agree to that. Then we prosecute. Either he tells the truth or we make him face consequences. His choice. She felt lighter, stronger. Her phone rang. James, are you sure about this? If he refuses, this gets ugly. I'm sure. I'm done being protected. If we do this, we do it right. We expose everything. Okay, then we do this your way. But Rebecca, you need to prepare. Nathan won't go down quietly. I know, but neither will I. After hanging up, Rebecca went to the kitchen, made tea, stood at the window. Starting over feels impossible, she whispered, but staying in this lie feels worse. The baby kicked again, stronger. Rebecca smiled, her first real smile in days. She wasn't starting over, she was starting. For the first time in 8 years, she was living her own life. The flash drive sat on the counter. Rebecca picked it up. Then she called David Crawford. I need you to prepare a case, not just for divorce, for fraud, for racketeering, for everything Nathan has done, because we're taking him down. Rebecca, that's a big decision. I've never been more sure of anything. Nathan Harper thinks he can erase me. He's about to find out how wrong he is. She hung up, set the flash drive down, picked up her laptop, and started writing. Everything she knew, everything she suspected, every conversation overheard, every suspicious transaction, every lie. By dawn, she had 50 pages. She sent it to David, to James, to the IP lawyer. Then she texted Nathan. We need to talk tomorrow. 3 p.m., David Crawford's office. Bring your lawyer. This ends now. His reply came an hour later. Fine, but you won't like how this ends, Rebecca. She read it, deleted it, and smiled. Neither will you, she said out loud. Neither will you. Wednesday afternoon arrived gray and cold. Rebecca dressed carefully, a navy dress, pearl earrings, her hair pulled back. She wanted to look composed. Sarah drove her to David's office. You don't have to do this alone. I need to do this myself, but thank you. David met her in the lobby. Nathan just arrived. He brought 3 lawyers and his mother. Of course he did. They walked into the conference room. Nathan was already seated. He looked the same, handsome, confident, wearing his power-like armor. Next to him sat Margaret, ice cold in Chanel, and 3 lawyers. Nathan's eyes met Rebecca's. For just a second, something flickered. Then it was gone. Rebecca, he said. No warmth. Nathan, she replied, sitting down. Her hands were shaking. She folded them in her lap. One of Nathan's lawyers spoke. Mrs. Harper, we're prepared to offer you the terms outlined in your prenup. $5,000 per month for 1 year, plus child support. In exchange, you drop any claims against Mr. Harper. No, Rebecca said simply. I'm sorry. I said no. That agreement was signed under fraudulent pretenses. It's void. Nathan leaned forward. Rebecca, don't be difficult. You signed that prenup willingly. I was drunk at our engagement party. You handed me that prenup after 6 glasses of champagne. You still signed it. Actually, David interjected, intent matters, especially when the assets being protected were obtained illegally. The room went silent. Nathan's lawyer straightened. What exactly are you implying? I'm not implying anything. David opened a folder, slid documents across the table. Nathan Harper's real estate empire was built on stolen intellectual property. We have documentation proving Mr. Harper copied and sold proprietary technology belonging to James Thornton. Nathan's face didn't change, but Rebecca saw his hand tighten. That's absurd, Margaret said. My son built his business through hard work. Your son built his business through theft and fraud, and we can prove it. James Thornton is prepared to prosecute, unless Mr. Harper agrees to our terms. What terms? Complete financial disclosure, a fair divorce settlement, joint custody, and a written confession of how the business was actually started. Nathan laughed. You want me to confess to a crime? That's insane. Then we go to trial, Rebecca said. We air everything, the theft, the affairs, the fraud. All of it becomes public. You wouldn't. I would. In fact, I'd enjoy it. She pulled out her own folder, slid it across. This is documentation of your illegal business dealings. Zoning payoffs, money laundering, falsified loans, all spanning 8 years, which means I could potentially be held liable as your spouse. Nathan opened the folder. His face went pale. Where did you get this? Does it matter? It's real. And if you try to leave me with nothing, I go to the authorities. I hand them everything. I testify against you. Margaret stood. This is blackmail. This is justice. You told me I was nothing. I had no power, but you forgot something. Duh. She stood too, met Margaret's eyes. I was there for all of it. Every meeting, every deal, every phone call at 2 in the morning. I heard things, saw things, remembered things, and while you thought I was just the decorative wife, I was documenting, building a case. She turned to Nathan. You underestimated me. You thought I was stupid. Too in love to see, but I saw everything. I just chose not to act until you forced my hand. Nathan was staring at her like he'd never seen her before. Rebecca, don't try to charm me. Don't try to manipulate me. Those days are over. Here's what's going to happen, Rebecca continued. You're going to agree to a fair divorce settlement, joint custody, child support that reflects your real income, and you're going to sign a statement admitting how you started your business. And if I refuse, then James prosecutes. I turn over all the evidence to the DA, and you spend the next decade in prison. Your choice, blah, blah. Nathan's lawyer whispered something. Nathan shook his head. They whispered more urgently. Finally, Nathan looked up. I need time. You have until Friday, 5 p.m. After that, the deal is off. She stood, started walking toward the door, then stopped. One more thing. Vivian Cross, you need to tell her the truth about me, about our marriage, about the fact that you asked me to get pregnant. She deserves to know who you really are. Nathan's mask finally cracked. Rebecca, please. I'm not doing this for you. I'm doing this for her because I know what it's like to believe your lies. She walked out. In the elevator, her legs finally gave out. David caught her. You did great, really great. Rebecca laughed shakily. I think I'm going to throw up. Deep breaths, the hard part is over. But Rebecca knew that wasn't true. The hard part was just beginning. Her phone rang. James, how did it go? I don't know. I laid out everything, but I don't know if that's enough. It's enough. Rebecca, can I see you? I need to talk to you about something. Not more bad news, please. Not bad news, but important. The cafe in North Beach, where James had told her about the theft. Okay, 30 minutes. James was already there. He looked tired, worried. What's wrong? James took a breath. After our last meeting, I started thinking about Nathan, about why he targeted you specifically. Because I had access to your files. That's what I thought. But then I realized something. Nathan could have gotten those patents through other means. There were easier ways. Rebecca frowned. Then why? Because it wasn't just about the patents. It was about you. I don't understand. James reached across the table, took her hand. Rebecca, do you remember that tech conference, spring of your senior year? Vaguely, you were speaking on a panel. Nathan was there. He approached me after, asked about my company, and he asked about you. Specifically asked if we were serious, if we were planning to get married. Rebecca's stomach dropped. What did you tell him? I said yes. I told him I was planning to propose, that you were going to be a lawyer, that together we'd be unstoppable. And I told a stranger all about it. And then what happened? Then Nathan pursued you. He showed up at your law school, started asking you out. And I thought I was losing you because I wasn't exciting enough. But Rebecca, you were the target all along, because of me. Rebecca pulled her hand away. You're saying he destroyed us just to hurt you? I'm saying he saw an opportunity to hurt me and profit simultaneously. He stole my technology and my girlfriend in one move. Rebecca felt sick. So I was never real to him, not even in the beginning. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry I didn't see it then. They sat in silence. I need to go, Rebecca said suddenly. Something's wrong. What? The baby. She's not moving. Or James threw money on the table. I'm driving you to the hospital, right now. In the car, Rebecca tried not to panic. They arrived at the emergency room. Dr. Winters was called. They hooked Rebecca up to monitors, and for 5 terrible minutes, they couldn't find the baby's heartbeat. Rebecca gripped James's hand. Please, please be okay. Then they found it, the heartbeat, fast and strong. False alarm, Dr. Winters said with relief. Baby was just positioned weirdly. But Rebecca, your blood pressure is through the roof. What's going on? Stress. There's a lot happening. Dr. Winters looked at her seriously. You need to reduce stress immediately. Another spike like this, and we could be looking at premature labor. Or worse. How do I reduce stress? My life is falling apart. Then you need to step away. Let other people handle the divorce. Your only job is to keep this baby safe. After Dr. Winters left, Rebecca lay in the hospital bed crying. James sat beside her. I can't do this. I can't fight Nathan and protect my baby. Then don't fight. Let me do it. Let the lawyers do it. You focus on your daughter. But I need to be strong. Rebecca, James said softly, you are strong, but strength isn't always about fighting. Sometimes it's about knowing when to let others fight for you. Rebecca looked at him. Why are you doing this after everything I did to you? Because you were 21. You were young and targeted by a predator. That doesn't mean you deserve to suffer forever. I left you for him. I broke your heart. You did. And it took me a long time to get over it. But Rebecca, I'm not fighting for us. I'm fighting for you. For the woman you are. For the person you could have been if Nathan hadn't stolen your life. He stood, kissed her forehead gently. Go home. Rest. Let me handle Nathan. You just take care of yourself and your daughter. Rebecca wanted to protest, but Dr. Winters was right. The baby came first. Okay, she whispered. James smiled. I'll call you tomorrow with an update. Try to get some sleep. After he left, Rebecca lay in the darkening hospital room, her hand on her stomach, the baby's heartbeat filling the space. I'm sorry, she whispered. I'm sorry I brought you into this mess. But I promise you something. I promise you'll never doubt that you're loved. You'll always be enough. The baby kicked, small and strong and perfect. Rebecca closed her eyes, and for the first time in days, she felt something like peace. Rebecca spent Thursday at Sarah's apartment trying to rest, trying to be a responsible mother instead of a vengeful wife. Every time her phone buzzed, her heart raced. Sarah had taken the day off. They watched mindless television and pretended everything was normal. At 2 in the afternoon, Rebecca's phone rang. James, are you sure? How are you feeling? Terrible. How's the case? That's what I'm calling about. Nathan's lawyers reached out. They want to negotiate. They're scared, Rebecca. Good. There's something else. Something I need to tell you in person. 20 minutes later, James was at the door. He looked serious. What's wrong? James sat down. After you left the hospital yesterday, I started thinking about the flash drive you received, about who might have sent it. I assumed it was someone from Nathan's business. That's what I thought too. But then I had my security team trace it. It was mailed from inside your house, while you and Nathan were still living there. Rebecca's blood ran cold. What are you saying? I'm saying someone inside your house was documenting Nathan's crimes. Someone who had access to his office. But who? Then she realized, oh my God, you sent yourself that flash drive. Rebecca shook her head. No, I don't remember. But memory was flickering back. Late nights when Nathan was traveling. She'd been unable to sleep, had wandered into his home office, had started looking through files, but she hadn't been just curious. She'd been suspicious and smart enough to document what she found. I didn't know I was doing it. I thought I was being paranoid. You weren't paranoid. You were preparing. Your subconscious knew. Rebecca sank onto the couch. I've been gathering evidence for 2 years, which means you have more than that flash drive. Rebecca, where else did you store information? Rebecca thought about it, about all the nights Nathan was gone. My phone, I have screenshots, hundreds of screenshots, text messages Nathan deleted, emails I forwarded to myself, bank statements I photographed. Where? Cloud storage. I created a secret account, used my maiden name. She grabbed her laptop, logged in, and there it was. 2 years of evidence, meticulously organized. James looked at the screen. This is incredible. This is everything we need, not just for the divorce, for criminal charges. Rebecca felt strange, disconnected. I did this. You protected yourself. You trusted your instincts. Sarah came over. Holy shit, Rebecca, you've been playing the long game. I wasn't playing anything. I didn't know. Maybe not consciously, but some part of you knew. The lawyer in you. She was still there, still working. Rebecca stared at the files, years of work. What do we do with this? We give it to David. We build a case so airtight that Nathan has no choice. And then what? He agrees and we all move on? No, James said firmly. He doesn't get away with anything because even if he agrees to our terms, I'm still prosecuting. The deal I offered was for you, but I never said I was letting him off the hook. Rebecca looked at him. You want to destroy him. I want justice. Nathan Harper has been getting away with his crimes for too long. That ends now. Rebecca thought about what that meant. Nathan prosecuted, possibly prison. Her daughter growing up knowing her father was a criminal. Then she thought about what Dr. Winters had said, about Margaret calling her nothing, about 8 years of lies. Do it. Take him in. James nodded. I'll need you to testify. I'll do whatever it takes, and they spent the next 3 hours going through everything. Rebecca explained each document. By the time James left, they had a complete picture, and it was damning. After he was gone, Rebecca lay on Sarah's couch, exhausted. The baby was moving again. I can't believe I did all that, Rebecca said. I can't believe I was smart enough to protect myself. You've always been smart. Nathan just convinced you that you weren't. I was a good lawyer. I liked my job. Why did I give it up? Because he asked you to, and you loved him, and you thought love meant sacrifice. It does mean sacrifice, but it's supposed to be mutual. Her phone buzzed. Nathan, we need to talk, not at lawyers' offices, just you and me. Please. Rebecca showed it to Sarah. Should I respond? Hell no, that's manipulation. Rebecca knew Sarah was right, but part of her wanted to hear what Nathan had to say. She typed back, say whatever you need to say through your lawyers. His response was immediate. Rebecca, please, you don't understand the full story. Vivian isn't what you think. Nothing is what you think. Then explain it to David Crawford. I don't care anymore. She blocked his number. Then Margaret's. Then everyone connected to Nathan. I'm done, she said. Done trying to understand. Done caring about his reasons. All that matters is protecting my daughter. Good. That's exactly the right mindset. That night, Rebecca had trouble sleeping. Her mind kept replaying every moment of her marriage. By morning, Rebecca was exhausted but happier than she'd been in years. Because she'd done it. She'd survived Nathan, survived the betrayal, survived the divorce. The prison door had been unlocked all along. She'd been her own warden, but not anymore. Now she was free. Friday morning arrived too quickly. Rebecca woke with a sense of foreboding. Today was the deadline. Nathan either agreed or they proceeded with prosecution. David called at 9. Nathan's lawyers want to meet, 11 o'clock. They say Nathan is ready to talk. Just talk or actually agree? That's what we're going to find out. James insisted on coming. You don't face him alone again. They arrived at David's office together. Nathan was already there, but this time alone. No lawyers, no Margaret, just him, looking exhausted. Rebecca, thank you for coming. She didn't respond, sat down, kept her face neutral. I wanted to apologize. I know I've hurt you, but you have to understand Vivian and I, we have history, real history. And when she came back, I couldn't ignore that. You were married to me. You were actively trying to get me pregnant. And the whole time you were with her. I know how it looks, but Rebecca, our marriage, it wasn't real. Not the way you thought. The words hung in the air. It wasn't real. Explain that. Nathan looked down. I married you because I needed to. My business was struggling. I had a reputation issue. I needed someone respectable. You were perfect, smart, beautiful, from a good family. You made me look stable. Rebecca felt like she'd been punched. I was a prop. I cared about you, but I've always loved Vivian since college. I'm the mother of your child. In case you forgot, I'm 7 months pregnant. I know, and I'll support her. But Rebecca, you have to let me go. Drop this legal battle. Take the prenup settlement. No, she said. Rebecca, no, you don't get to confess that our marriage was fake and then ask me to quietly disappear. Nathan's face hardened. Fine. Then I'll file for full custody. I'll prove you're unfit. That the stress you're putting yourself through is dangerous. You'll lose. Will I? Rebecca, you collapsed at a charity gala. You've been hospitalized twice. You're living in your sister's one-bedroom apartment. You have no income. Meanwhile, I have resources. Stability. David stood. This meeting is over. Nathan, you just threatened my client. If you try to take her daughter, we will bury you. We have evidence of fraud, tax evasion, money laundering. Evidence you obtained illegally. Rebecca obtained it legally while living in your home. While married to you, it's all admissible. Nathan turned to James. This is your fault. I didn't have to. You did that when you played that video. Nathan stood. Rebecca, last chance. Take the prenup settlement. Walk away. Let me have full custody, and I'll make sure you're taken care of. Fight me, and I'll destroy you. I'll make sure you never see your daughter. Rebecca stood too. You keep threatening to leave me with nothing. But Nathan, you already took everything. So what exactly do I have left to lose? Your daughter, you have her to lose. The threat hung in the air. Get out, David said. We'll see you in court. Nathan looked at Rebecca one more time. You're making a mistake. The only mistake I made was marrying you in the first place. After Nathan left, Rebecca collapsed into a chair. Her whole body was shaking. He's bluffing, David said immediately. He can't get full custody. Not with his affair. Not with his crimes. It's working. I'm terrified. Don't be. We have everything we need. But Rebecca couldn't shake the fear. Her phone rang. Margaret. She answered. What? You need to stop this. You're destroying my son. All because you can't accept that he doesn't love you. Your son destroyed himself. You're being vindictive, using that baby as a weapon. Nathan is right about you. You are unstable. And if you don't back down, I'll testify in court. Do it. Testify. Let everyone see who you really are. You're going to regret this. I already regret plenty, but fighting for my daughter won't be one of them. She hung up, looked at David. Margaret is going to testify against me. Let her. A cold, vindictive mother-in-law will only make you look sympathetic. Rebecca wanted to believe that, but the fear wouldn't leave. I need to go. I need to get out of here. James drove her back to Sarah's apartment. They didn't talk. Rebecca stared out the window. He's going to take her, Rebecca said suddenly. He's not. I won't let that happen. You can't promise that. No, but I can promise that I'll fight, that David will fight. They arrived at Sarah's building. James walked her up. How bad? Sarah asked. Bad. Nathan threatened full custody. Margaret called and said she'd testify against me. Rebecca sank onto the couch. The exhaustion was overwhelming. I can't do this. I thought I was strong enough, but I'm not. Sarah sat beside her. You are strong enough. I'm not. I'm broken. Nathan broke me. Rebecca, listen to me, James said, crouching in front of her. You are not broken. You're hurt. There's a difference. Hurt things can heal, and you will heal. How? One day at a time, 1 hour at a time. Rebecca closed her eyes, breathed, the baby kicked. She focused on that. I need to lie down. I'm so tired. Sarah helped her to the bedroom. Rebecca lay down. Sarah pulled a blanket over her. Sleep. I'll handle everything. Rebecca closed her eyes, and despite everything, she slept. She woke hours later to voices. Were Bushra and James talking quietly. She can't take much more. The stress is going to hurt the baby. I know. We need to end this quickly. Will he agree? I don't know. He's cornered, and cornered animals are dangerous. Rebecca sat up slowly. She looked at her phone. 6 p.m., past Nathan's deadline. The deal was off. They were proceeding with prosecution. She got up, walked into the living room. You're awake. How do you feel? Terrible, but I'll live. What happens now? Now we file charges, James said. Criminal and civil. How long? To file? A few days. To go to trial? Months. Months. Rebecca looked down at her stomach. She was due in 8 weeks. I can't wait months. I need this resolved before the baby comes. I need to know where we stand. Rebecca, no, I need this finished. David had joined them. We could push for an expedited hearing on custody, argue that the uncertainty is causing medical distress. Dr. Winters would support that. Do it. Do whatever it takes. The next week was a blur of legal meetings and doctor's appointments and sleepless nights. David filed for an emergency custody hearing. James's lawyers filed criminal charges. The media had a field day. Rebecca stopped reading the headlines, focused on staying calm, on protecting the baby. But Nathan wasn't making it easy. He filed his own emergency custody motion, claimed Rebecca was unfit due to mental instability, claimed she was using the baby as a weapon. The hearing was set for 10 days away. Dr. Winters was furious. This is unconscionable, creating this much stress for a woman in her 3rd trimester. Can you testify to that? Absolutely. On the 8th day, Rebecca got a phone call from Vivian. Please don't hang up. I need to talk to you. Rebecca almost hung up, but something in Vivian's voice stopped her. Fear. What do you want? I need to meet with you. There's something you need to know, something about Nathan. I'm not interested in Nathan's excuses. This isn't an excuse. It's a warning. Please, just meet me. Rebecca thought about it, about what Dr. Winters had said about stress. But Vivian's voice didn't sound like an ally. It sounded scared. Fine, tomorrow, 10 a.m., that cafe in North Beach. Meh, she told James and David. They both advised against it. It could be a trap. Or she actually has information we need. Then I'm coming with you. I'll wait outside. The next morning, Rebecca arrived with James. He sat near the door while Rebecca went to the corner booth where Vivian was waiting. Up close, Vivian looked terrible, pale, exhausted. Thank you for coming. Rebecca sat down. You have 10 minutes. Talk. Vivian took a shaky breath. I didn't know about you, Nathan told me you two were separated, that you were only staying married for tax purposes. And you believed him? Yes, because that's what I wanted to believe. Because I've loved him since college. So why are you here? I realized he's been lying about everything. She pulled out her phone, showed Rebecca text messages. These are from Nathan's other phone. Rebecca read them. Her blood ran cold. Nathan was texting multiple women, promising them relationships, all while engaged to Vivian and still married to Rebecca. There are at least 3 others. We're not special. We're just the 2 who got pregnant. Rebecca looked up. How did you get these? I finally did what I should have done months ago. I looked through his things, found this phone in his car, and I found something else too. She pulled out a folder. Inside were financial documents, offshore accounts, shell companies, evidence of Nathan hiding money. He's broke, or nearly broke. The real estate empire? It's mortgaged to the hilt. He's been living on credit and lies for years. It's a Ponzi scheme. Rebecca stared at the documents. This can't be right. He asked me to invest my family's money, $200,000. I gave it to him 3 weeks ago. It's gone now. Why are you telling me this? Because he's going to do the same thing to you. In court, he's going to claim he's wealthy and stable, but it's all lies. And if he gets custody, he won't be able to afford anything. Rebecca looked at the documents again. You're going to testify to this. It wasn't a question. Yes, I'm going to testify. I'm going to tell them everything. How he lied about you, how he's been with other women, how he scammed my family. Why, what's in it for you? Nothing, except maybe I can save your daughter from the childhood I'm condemning mine to. A father who's a criminal. Tears were streaming down her face. I'm sorry, I'm so sorry for what I did to you, for believing him, for moving into your house. I didn't win anything. We both lost. Rebecca sat back. What happened to us? We fell in love with someone who doesn't exist, and now we get to figure out how to live with the consequences. They sat in silence. Two pregnant women who should have been enemies, who were victims of the same man. I'll make sure David gets these documents. And Vivian, thank you. Nothing about this has been easy, but at least now, maybe we can both start over. Rebecca left the cafe. James was waiting. What happened? We won. Vivian just handed us everything we need to destroy Nathan. She showed him the documents in the car, watched his expression change. He's going to prison. This is fraud, securities fraud, wire fraud. He's going to prison for years. Good. He should have thought about that before he decided to destroy everyone around him. They drove back to Sarah's apartment. Rebecca forwarded all the documents to David immediately. This changes everything, David said. With Vivian's testimony and these documents, Nathan's custody case falls apart completely. When do we go to court? Day after tomorrow, the emergency hearing. Rebecca, we're going to win. That night, Rebecca lay in bed, unable to sleep. She kept thinking about Vivian, about how young she looked, how scared. Rebecca pressed her hand to her stomach. Your father is a fraud, Rebecca whispered. A criminal, a liar. And I'm sorry you'll grow up knowing that, but I promise you something. You will never doubt that I fought for you. You will never doubt that you were wanted. The baby kicked, small and strong. 2 days until court. 2 days until she faced Nathan again. 2 days until she fought for her daughter's future. Rebecca closed her eyes, and for the first time in weeks, she felt something like peace. Not because the fight was over, but because she finally knew she was going to win. The morning of the custody hearing arrived cold and gray. Rebecca woke at 5 a.m., unable to sleep. She dressed carefully, a navy dress, simple jewelry, her hair pulled back. She wanted to look composed, stable. Sarah made her breakfast. Rebecca couldn't eat. You've got this. You're going to walk in there, tell the truth, and walk out with full custody. What if the judge doesn't believe me? They won't. Not with Vivian testifying. James picked them up at 8. The hearing was at 9. They drove to the courthouse in silence. At the courthouse, David was waiting. Vivian is already here. She brought her parents. They're prepared to testify about the money Nathan took. Is Nathan here? Not yet. His lawyers are here, but no sign of Nathan or Margaret. They went inside. The courtroom was smaller than Rebecca expected, more intimate. Rebecca sat at the plaintiff's table with David. James and Sarah sat in the front row behind them. Across the aisle, Nathan's 3 lawyers were conferring in whispers. At 8:55, Nathan walked in. He looked terrible, unshaven, his suit wrinkled, his eyes bloodshot. He didn't look at Rebecca. Margaret wasn't with him. That was strange. The bailiff called them to order. All rise for the Honorable Judge Patricia Chen. They stood. The judge entered. She was about 60, gray hair pulled back, sharp eyes. Be seated. This is an emergency custody hearing in the matter of Harper versus Harper. Let's start with Mrs. Harper's petition. Counsel. David stood. Your Honor, my client Rebecca Harper is 7.5 months pregnant. She's seeking primary physical custody with reasonable visitation. Mr. Harper has filed for full custody, claiming Mrs. Harper is mentally unstable. And your response? We believe it's entirely baseless. Mrs. Harper has been under enormous stress due to Mr. Harper's public affair. Any medical issues are directly related to stress caused by Mr. Harper's actions. Judge Chen looked at Nathan's attorney. Mr. Blackwell? Nathan's lawyer stood. Your Honor, our position is that Mrs. Harper has demonstrated instability. She's been hospitalized twice. She's living in a one-bedroom apartment. She has no income. Meanwhile, Mr. Harper can provide a stable home. Resources obtained through criminal activity, David interjected. Judge Chen raised her hand. One at a time. Mr. Crawford, what evidence do you have regarding alleged criminal activity? Substantial evidence, Your Honor. Documentation of fraud, money laundering, and securities violations. We also have testimony from another of Mr. Harper's victims. Your Honor, these allegations are unproven, Blackwell protested. They're extremely relevant, David countered. If Mr. Harper is facing criminal charges, he may be incarcerated. Judge Chen looked at Nathan. Mr. Harper, are you currently facing criminal charges? Nathan stood slowly. Yes, Your Honor, but I'm innocent. I'm not her boyfriend, James said quietly from the front row. Judge Chen turned. And you are? James Thornton, Your Honor, Mrs. Harper's former fiancé. Mr. Harper stole intellectual property from me 12 years ago. I'm the one bringing criminal charges. This is highly irregular, but given the nature of these proceedings, I'll allow it. Mr. Thornton, do you have proof? Yes, Your Honor, substantial proof. Documentation, emails, all of it. Judge Chen made a note. Mr. Blackwell, I'm inclined to hear testimony regarding these allegations. Your Honor, save it. We're going to hear from witnesses. Let's start with Mrs. Harper's doctor. Is Dr. Winters present? Dr. Patricia Winters stood. I'm here, Your Honor. Dr. Winters, please take the stand. Patricia was sworn in. She sat calmly. David questioned her first. Dr. Winters, how long have you been Mrs. Harper's physician? 3 years. I've been her OB/GYN throughout this pregnancy. In your medical opinion, is Mrs. Harper mentally stable? Absolutely. Mrs. Harper has been under extreme stress due to her husband's very public betrayal. Her physical reactions are normal responses to abnormal circumstances. Is there any reason Mrs. Harper couldn't provide excellent care for her daughter? None whatsoever. In fact, given the stress Mr. Harper has caused, I believe Mrs. Harper and the baby would both be healthier if Mr. Harper had limited contact. Blackwell stood for cross-examination. Dr. Winters, you testified that Mrs. Harper has been hospitalized twice. Isn't that concerning? It would be if the hospitalizations were due to mental illness or drug use, but they were precautionary measures due to stress-induced symptoms, stress caused entirely by Mr. Harper's actions. You seem biased against my client. I'm biased toward my patient's health, and Mr. Harper is a threat to that health. Judge Chen made another note. Thank you, Dr. Winters. Who's next? The defense calls Vivian Cross, Blackwell said. Rebecca's head snapped up. The defense was calling Vivian? Vivian walked to the stand. She was sworn in, sat down, looked directly at Rebecca. Miss Cross, you're currently in a relationship with Nathan Harper, correct? No, Vivian said clearly. I'm not. Blackwell faltered. Excuse me? I said no. I ended my relationship with Nathan Harper 1 week ago when I discovered he'd been lying to me about everything. The courtroom went silent. Miss Cross, you're pregnant with Mr. Harper's child. Yes, unfortunately. Unfortunately? Yes, unfortunately. Because Nathan Harper is a liar, a fraud, and a criminal, and I'm ashamed I ever believed him. Judge Chen leaned forward. Miss Cross, did defense counsel know you were going to testify against Mr. Harper? I don't think so. They subpoenaed me expecting me to support him, but I can't. Blackwell looked at Nathan in panic. Your Honor, I'd like to withdraw this witness. Too late. The witness has been sworn. Mr. Crawford, would you like to question her? I would, Your Honor. David approached Vivian. Miss Cross, what did you learn about Mr. Harper? Everything. He told me he was separated from his wife, that their marriage was over, all lies. He was actively trying to get her pregnant, while also getting me pregnant. Did he lie about anything else? Yes. He told me he was wealthy, that he could provide for me and our baby, but he's broke. He scammed my family out of $200,000. She pulled out documents, handed them to David. These are his real financial records, offshore accounts, shell companies, proof that he's been running a Ponzi scheme for years. The courtroom erupted. Nathan's lawyers were on their feet. Judge Chen was banging her gavel. Order, Mr. Crawford, where did these documents come from? From Mr. Harper's personal files. Miss Cross obtained them legally as his fiancée. Your Honor, these were obtained without permission, Blackwell protested. They were obtained by someone Mr. Harper gave access to his home and files. I'll allow it. Miss Cross, continue. There's more, Vivian said. She looked at Rebecca. I'm sorry, I should have seen through him sooner. I should have questioned his story about you, but I wanted to believe I was special. I was an idiot. You weren't an idiot, Rebecca said quietly. You were targeted, same as me. Judge Chen didn't reprimand Rebecca. Instead, she said, Miss Cross, do you believe Mr. Harper should have custody of either of his children? No, I don't. He's a danger to everyone around him. He destroys people, uses them, throws them away. I don't want my daughter anywhere near him. And Rebecca's daughter deserves better too. Thank you, Miss Cross. Vivian walked past Nathan. He reached for her arm. She pulled away. Don't touch me. Don't ever touch me again. Judge Chen banged her gavel. Mr. Harper, sit down. Mr. Blackwell, do you have any other witnesses? Your Honor, we need a recess. Denied, we're finishing this today. Any other witnesses? No, Your Honor. Mr. Crawford, one more witness, Rebecca Harper. Rebecca stood on shaking legs, walked to the witness stand, was sworn in, sat down. Mrs. Harper, tell the court about your marriage. Rebecca took a breath. I thought it was real. I thought we were building a life together. I gave up my career for him, my friends, my identity, and the whole time he was lying to me. What did he lie about? Everything. He told me he loved me while being with Vivian. He told me he wanted our baby while plotting to leave me. Everything about our marriage was a lie. Are you mentally unstable, as Mr. Harper claims? No, I'm hurt. I'm angry. I'm grieving the life I thought I had. But I'm not unstable. I'm human. And I'm fighting for my daughter because she deserves a mother who will protect her. Things Nathan Harper is incapable of. No further questions. Blackwell stood for cross-examination. Mrs. Harper, isn't it true that you're currently homeless? I'm staying with my sister. That's not homeless. You have no income. I have a law degree and 8 years of experience. I'll find work after my daughter is born. Mr. Harper can provide so much more. Mr. Harper can provide nothing, Rebecca interrupted. He's broke. He's facing criminal charges. He's about to lose everything. I may not have much, but what I have is real. It's honest. It's mine. And that's more than Nathan has ever had. Blackwell sat down. He had nothing left. Judge Chen looked at Nathan. Mr. Harper, do you want to testify? Nathan stood slowly. No, Your Honor. Very well. I'm prepared to rule. In the matter of custody, I find in favor of Mrs. Rebecca Harper. She is granted primary physical custody. Mr. Harper is granted supervised visitation, pending the outcome of criminal charges. Rebecca's knees went weak. She'd won. Furthermore, I'm referring these financial documents to the district attorney. Mr. Harper, you should obtain criminal counsel immediately. The gavel came down. Court adjourned. Rebecca stepped down from the witness stand. Sarah rushed forward, hugged her. James was there too. You did it. You actually did it. We did it, Rebecca corrected. She looked at David, at James, at Vivian, who was gathering her things. All of us. Nathan was being escorted out by his lawyers. He looked broken, destroyed. For a second, Rebecca felt something like pity. Then she remembered the video, the humiliation, the 8 years of lies. The pity evaporated. Let's go home, Rebecca said, then stopped. Actually, I don't have a home. Yes, you do, James said quietly. The guest house, it's yours, no strings, just a safe place for you and your daughter. Rebecca looked at him, at this man who'd never stopped protecting her. Okay, thank you. They walked out of the courthouse together, into the gray San Francisco morning, into an uncertain future. But for the first time in months, Rebecca felt something like hope. She'd fought, she'd won, and her daughter was safe. Everything else, she could figure out. One day at a time. 3 days after the custody hearing, Rebecca moved into James's guest house. It was small but perfect. 1 bedroom, 1 bathroom, a tiny kitchen, big windows overlooking a garden. Sarah helped her unpack the few belongings she had, clothes, books, the ultrasound photos she'd kept hidden from Nathan. This is nice, really nice. It's temporary, just until I figure out what's next. Sure, Sarah said, in a tone that meant she didn't believe that. James had left a basket on the counter. Fresh bread, fruit, tea, a note that said simply, "Welcome home." Rebecca's eyes stung. She blinked hard. She was tired of crying, but the tears came anyway. He's a good man, James. He's always been a good man. I know. That's what makes it worse. I threw away a good man for someone who was only pretending to be good. You were 21. You were allowed to have made mistakes. This was a pretty big mistake. And you survived it. You're here. You're safe. Your daughter is safe. That's what matters. After Sarah left, Rebecca explored her new space. It was strange living alone. She hadn't lived alone since college. She'd never just been Rebecca. By herself, for herself. It was terrifying and liberating in equal measure. Her phone buzzed. David Crawford. Rebecca, I have news. The DA is moving forward with charges against Nathan. Fraud, securities violations, money laundering. They're expecting an indictment within the week. How long could he go to prison for? 15 to 20 years, if he's convicted on all counts. 20 years. Rebecca tried to imagine that. Her daughter would be an adult by the time Nathan got out. How do you feel about that? I don't know. Part of me wants him to suffer, to face consequences. And the other part? The other part feels sorry for him, which is stupid. Pity and justice aren't mutually exclusive. You can feel sorry for someone and still believe they need to face consequences. After hanging up, Rebecca sat in the window seat overlooking the garden. The baby was active today. Your father is going to prison, she said softly. I don't know how to tell you that. How to explain that the person who helped create you is also a person who hurts so many others. The baby kicked, hard, as if to say, I'm here, Mom. That's all that matters. Rebecca's phone buzzed again. Vivian, can we talk? I have something you should see. They met at a park. Vivian arrived looking exhausted. Her pregnancy was showing more now. Thank you for testifying. It was the right thing to do. I should have done it sooner. They sat in silence. Then Vivian pulled out an envelope. These are letters from Nathan from college. He wrote them to me after I had the abortion. Why are you showing me these? Because they're all lies. Read them. Rebecca opened the first letter. It was dated 12 years ago, right around the time Nathan had started pursuing her. My dearest Vivian, I'm so sorry. You deserve better. But I want you to know that I loved you. I still love you. You're the only woman I've ever really loved. Someday I'll come back for you, I promise. Rebecca looked up. He was writing to you while dating me? While proposing to you. She handed over another letter. This one is from right before your wedding. Rebecca read it. More promises, more declarations of love, all for Vivian, all while planning a wedding with Rebecca. There are 53 letters, spanning 12 years. He wrote to me throughout your entire marriage. But he never did, not until you got pregnant. Not until he needed me again. That's when I finally understood. He doesn't love either of us. He loves having options, having backups, having women waiting for him. So what do we do with these? I'm giving them to the prosecutors. They establish a pattern, but I wanted you to see them first. Rebecca stared at the letters. Does it help, knowing we were both played? A little. Hurts less than thinking I stole someone's husband. Now I know there was nothing to steal. They sat watching children play. 2 pregnant women. both alone, both recovering from the same man. What are you going to do after the baby comes? Move back home to Seattle. My parents are furious, but they'll help. And you? I don't know. James offered me this guest house, but I can't stay there forever. I need to figure out my own life, my own career. You were a lawyer. You could practice again. Maybe. Or maybe I do something completely different. Then figure it out. You have time, and a daughter who will be watching. Let her see you rebuild. After Vivian left, Rebecca walked back to the guest house slowly. Her back ached, her feet were swollen, but her mind was clear. She'd spent 8 years being Nathan's wife, being decorative, being convenient, being small. She was done being small. That night, Rebecca opened her laptop, started researching family law, child advocacy, women's rights, because she realized something. Her experience wasn't unique. Thousands of women went through versions of this story. What if she could help them? What if she could use what she'd learned to protect other women? The idea took root, grew. By midnight, Rebecca had a plan. She'd finish her pregnancy, have her daughter, take maternity leave, and then she'd start her own practice. Family law, focusing on women escaping toxic relationships. She'd call it Phoenix Legal, because that's what they were. Women rising from ashes. The baby kicked. Rebecca smiled. What do you think? You want a lawyer mom who helps other people? The baby kicked again. Rebecca took that as a yes. Over the next 2 weeks, Rebecca prepared, met with David about starting a practice, talked to other family lawyers, reached out to women's shelters. The work gave her purpose. And then one morning, Rebecca woke up to find her water had broken. It was 6 a.m. She was 37 weeks pregnant, 3 weeks early but within normal range. She called Dr. Winters, called Sarah, called James. Don't panic, early labor, totally normal. Come to the hospital when contractions are 5 minutes apart. By 8 a.m., the contractions were regular. By 10 a.m., Rebecca was in the car with James. You've got this. You're the strongest person I know. I don't feel strong. I feel like I'm being split in half. That's just childbirth, totally normal. Have you given birth? No, but I'm here and I'm not leaving. At the hospital, Dr. Winters was waiting. Sarah arrived minutes later. Baby looks great. You're at 5 centimeters. Probably another few hours. Those few hours were the longest of Rebecca's life. The pain was intense, all-consuming. Sarah held one hand, James held the other. They took turns talking to her, distracting her. I can't do this. Ooh, I can't. It's too much. You can, Sarah said firmly. You've survived worse. You survived Nathan. You can survive labor. Nathan was easier. Debatable, Sarah muttered. At 2 p.m., Dr. Winters checked her again. 10 centimeters. It's time. Ready to meet your daughter? No, but let's do it anyway. The pushing was worse than the contractions. Rebecca had never worked so hard. I can see her head. One more push. Come on, Rebecca. Rebecca pushed with everything she had, felt something shift, heard a cry, and then Dr. Winters was holding a tiny, angry, perfect baby. It's a girl, a beautiful, healthy girl. They put her on Rebecca's chest, warm and wet and screaming. Rebecca looked down at this tiny person. Hi, baby. I'm your mom, and I love you. I love you so much. The baby stopped crying, opened her eyes, dark blue, looked right at Rebecca, and Rebecca fell in love, completely, irrevocably, forever. What's her name? Sarah asked softly. Rebecca had thought about this, had made lists, had considered family names and meaningful names. But looking at her daughter, there was only one name that felt right. Hope. Her name is Hope. Because that's what this baby represented. Hope for the future. Hope for healing. Hope for becoming who they were meant to be. Hope Elizabeth Harper. Though Rebecca was already planning to change that last name. They spent an hour doing skin-to-skin contact. Then Sarah held Hope. Then James held Hope and looked at her with such tenderness that Rebecca's heart ached. At 5 p.m., there was a commotion outside. Rebecca woke to raised voices. I have a right to see my daughter, Nathan was saying. You have supervised visitation only, and you're violating the restraining order. Rebecca got out of bed, slowly, painfully, wrapped a robe around herself, walked to the door. Nathan was in the hallway. He looked terrible. Thinner, older, broken. "Rebecca, please. I just want to see her." "No," Rebecca said simply. "She's my daughter." "She's my daughter. You're just the man who contributed DNA. Being a father takes more than that. It takes showing up, being honest, loving unconditionally, things you've never done. I made mistakes, but Rebecca, please, don't keep me from my child. You kept yourself from your child when you chose to betray me. Those were your choices. Now you live with the consequences." She turned to the security guard. "He's not allowed in this room. Ever. If he comes back, call the police." "Yes, ma'am." Rebecca looked at Nathan one last time. "Goodbye, Nathan. I hope someday you figure out how to be a better person. But it won't be with me, and it won't be with our daughter. You lost that right." She walked back into her room, closed the door, and didn't look back. Inside, Hope was sleeping in Sarah's arms, peaceful, perfect, completely unaware. Is he gone? Security is escorting him out. He won't be back. Rebecca sat on the bed, looked at her daughter. "I'm going to give you everything. Everything I didn't have. Honesty, security, a mother who sees you, who values you." The baby stirred, made a small sound, settled back into sleep. "She's perfect," Sarah said softly. "She is, and she's mine. No one can take that away." That night, after visiting hours ended and Sarah went home, James stayed, sat in the uncomfortable hospital chair, held Hope when she fussed. "You don't have to do this. She's not your responsibility." "I know, but I want to, if you'll let me, not as a replacement father, just as someone who cares about you both." Rebecca looked at him, at this good man who'd never stopped being good. "Okay." She slept fitfully that night, woke every 2 hours to feed Hope, to change Hope, to stare at Hope and marvel. By morning, Rebecca was exhausted but happier than she'd been in years, because she'd done it. She'd survived Nathan, survived the betrayal, survived the divorce, survived the custody battle, and now she had hope, had a future, had a chance to become who she was meant to be. The prison door had been unlocked all along. She'd been her own warden, but not anymore. Now she was free. 6 weeks after Hope was born, Rebecca sat in her small office above a coffee shop in the Mission District. The sign on the door read, "Phoenix Legal, Family Law and Child Advocacy." It wasn't much. One room, a desk, 2 chairs, but it was hers. Hope slept in a bassinet in the corner, making soft snuffling sounds. Rebecca's phone rang, her first client. "Phoenix Legal, this is Rebecca." "Hi, my name is Amanda. I found your website. My husband just served me with divorce papers. He's claiming I'm mentally unstable, that I can't take care of our kids. But he's the one who's been lying, who's been cheating, and I don't know what to do." Rebecca's heart clenched. She knew this story, lived this story. "Amanda, I'm going to help you. Tell me everything." 2 hours later, Amanda left with a plan, with hope, with someone who believed her. Rebecca looked at Hope, who was awake now. "What do you think? Was that helpful?" Hope made a gurgling sound. Rebecca chose to take that as affirmation. The door opened. Sarah walked in with lunch. "How's the first day going?" "Good, really good. I saw 2 clients this morning. Both need help navigating divorces. Both were being gaslit by their husbands." "But they're not. They're not. They're just being manipulated." They ate together while Hope dozed. Rebecca's phone buzzed. A text from James. "How's opening day? Want to celebrate tonight? I'll cook." Rebecca smiled. Over the past 6 weeks, James had become a fixture in their lives. Not a boyfriend, not yet, just someone who showed up. "He's good for you. You know that, right?" "I know, but I'm not ready for anything romantic." "That's okay too. You don't owe anyone romance. You just owe yourself healing." At 3 p.m., David Crawford stopped by, brought flowers. "Congratulations. This is wonderful, Rebecca." "Thank you for everything." He handed her an envelope. "This is the final divorce decree. You're officially no longer married to Nathan Harper." Rebecca took the envelope, held it. It felt lighter than it should have. 8 years of marriage, reduced to paper. How do you feel? Free, terrified and lost and uncertain about everything, but free. That's a good place to start. After he left, Rebecca opened the envelope, read the decree. It was done, really done. She was no longer Rebecca Harper. She was Rebecca Winters again. Her phone buzzed, a news alert. Nathan Harper sentenced to 15 years in federal prison. Rebecca read the article. Nathan had pleaded guilty, would serve 15 years, be eligible for parole in 10. By the time he got out, Hope would be 10 years old. Rebecca closed the article, felt nothing, no satisfaction, no grief, just nothing. Nathan was someone who'd happened to her, but he wasn't who she was, wasn't who she'd become. That evening, Rebecca went to James's house for dinner. He'd made pasta, simple food, comfortable. Hope was fussy. Rebecca walked with her, bouncing gently, until she settled. You're good at that. I'm figuring it out, day by day. They ate together, talked about Rebecca's first day, about the office, about the clients. I'm proud of you for everything you've built. I'm not sure I've become anything yet. I'm still figuring out who I am. You're a survivor, a fighter, a mother, a lawyer. That's more than most people figure out in a lifetime. After dinner, they sat in James's living room, Hope sleeping between them. Can I ask you something? Anything. Why did you help me? After everything I did to you, why did you come back? James was quiet. Then, because you needed help. And because the woman I loved 12 years ago is still in there somewhere, even if you can't see her yet. I'm not that woman anymore. That woman was naive, trusting, stupid. That woman was young and hopeful and kind. Those aren't bad things. Rebecca looked at Hope. I don't know how to do this, any of this, being a single mother, running a business, starting over at 33. No one does. But Rebecca, you don't have to do it alone. I'm here. Sarah's here. I know, and I'm grateful. But I need to be able to stand on my own first. I understand, and I'll wait, however long it takes. Rebecca looked at him. You've been waiting for 12 years. That's not fair to you. Maybe not, but I'm not going anywhere, so take all the time you need. And if someday that includes me, great. If it doesn't, I'll still be your friend. They sat in comfortable silence. Hope made little dream sounds. For the first time in months, Rebecca felt like she could breathe. The weeks turned into months. Rebecca's practice grew. Word spread. Hope grew too. 2 months, 3 months, 4 months, learning to smile, to laugh. James was there through all of it, not as a boyfriend, just as James. Steady, constant. On Hope's 6-month birthday, Rebecca organized a small party. Just family, her and her parents. Dr. Winters, David Crawford, Claire, who'd been slowly working her way back, and James, of course. Always James. They sang to Hope, who stared at them with wide eyes, fed her tiny bites of cake, took photos. She's beautiful, Claire said. She's strong, Rebecca corrected. That's better than beautiful. After everyone left, Rebecca sat in the garden with Hope. The baby was drowsy. You're 6 months old, half a year. And in that half year, everything has changed. We have a home, a business, a future. We have people who love us. Hope yawned, stretched, settled against Rebecca's chest. Your father is in prison. Someday I'll have to explain that to you. Tell you who he was, what he did, and I hope you'll understand that his absence is his failure, not yours. That you are enough. She thought about the woman she'd been a year ago, Nathan's wife. Pregnant and ignorant, trusting and blind. That woman was gone. Had died the night the video played. Had been reborn in a hospital room. Had emerged from the ashes as someone new, someone stronger, someone wiser, someone whole. Rebecca looked up at the house, saw James watching from the window. He waved, she waved back. Maybe someday she'd be ready for that. For James. For second chances, for love that was real. But not today. Today, she was enough on her own. She and Hope. Building a life, creating a future. I promise you something, Rebecca whispered to her sleeping daughter. I promise that you'll grow up knowing your voice matters, that your feelings are valid, that you don't have to make yourself small for anyone. Hope sighed in her sleep, trustful, peaceful, safe. Rebecca closed her eyes, breathed in the scent of her daughter, of jasmine from the garden, of possibility. The marriage had failed, but it had failed because it was built on lies from the very first day. And what Rebecca had now, this life she was building, this was real. Every stumble, every victory, every moment of doubt, and every moment of strength. Real, authentic, hers. She'd spent 8 years being Nathan's wife, being decorative, being convenient, being whatever he needed her to be. She was done being whatever anyone else needed. Now she was just Rebecca, mother, lawyer, survivor, fighter, and that was more than enough. The sun set over the garden. Rebecca sat with her daughter in the growing darkness, not afraid of the shadows, not afraid of tomorrow, not afraid of the unknown, because she'd already survived the worst thing she could imagine, had already walked through fire, had already did and been reborn. Everything else was just living, and she was ready for that, ready to live, ready to grow, ready to become. Not for Nathan, not for anyone else, just for herself and for hope. That was enough. That would always be enough. If Rebecca's story moved you, if you've ever felt like you were losing yourself in someone else's lie, or if you know someone who needs to hear that they're stronger than they think, hit that like button right now. Drop a comment below telling me, what would you have done in Rebecca's situation? I read every single comment, and your story might help someone else who's going through this right now. Share this video with someone who needs a reminder that survival is possible, that starting over isn't failure, it's courage. And if you want more stories about resilience, second chances, and women who refuse to stay broken, subscribe and turn on that notification bell. Because every week I bring you stories that remind us we are not what happened to us. We are what we choose to become after. You are stronger than you know, and your story isn't over yet. I'll see you in the next one.